So because the list is so long, I'm going to get right to it. 100 things I have learned over the last 10 years. This was originally done as a live for my 100th Facebook episode, and I did it all at once, and the sound was terrible, and it took a long time to get through all 100 things. So I've decided to break it up into 3 parts, doing approximately a third in each part. So here we go. 100 things. Number 1, and these are in no particular order. Number 1, I didn't know how to dream. I remember dreaming about winning the lottery, fantasizing about winning the lottery when it was at $60 million. And I said to my daughter one day, you will know when I have won that $60 million lottery because I will phone you and say, honey, we are going apartment shopping. Because she lives in New York City and I would love to have a place there to go visit more regularly. And she said, Mom, if you win the lottery, we are going building shopping. And at that moment, I realized while I was dreaming, I was not dreaming very big. So I have since learned how to dream a little larger. Number 2, I didn't know how to plan. I know how to plan. I plan things all the time. But there's a way to do it so that you're successful. I've learned some skills. Now, I knew how to gather information, but I didn't know how to use it. And that's a very interesting thing to learn. And number 5 is business is harder than it looks. Now, there are people who can do things and make it look very, very easy. And we think that because they make it look so easy, it is an easy thing to do. That is not the case, especially with business. There are all kinds of moving parts that until you actually get into it, you just don't recognize how many moving parts there are and how difficult it actually is to run a successful business. So I applaud all of the people out there who are running successful, thriving businesses, because business is harder than it looks. Number 6, asking for help doesn't mean you're going to get it. Now, that may sound funny because I think for most of us, asking for help is not an easy thing to do. We don't like to ask for help. We like to be independent. But what I recognized is that just because we've asked for help doesn't mean we're going to get it. And that we should continue to ask for help. And what I mean by not getting it is you ask for one thing, and the person you're asking for help from is only willing to give you help B, not help A. And help A is what you actually need. So while you've asked for help, you may not always get the help that you require. And it's not that people don't want to help. People want to help the way they want to help. So you just need to keep looking for the person that is willing to help you the way you need to be helped. Number 7 is consistency. It's not my strong suit, which I was quite surprised at. I've always been very consistent and a solid person, and I thought I was consistent. But when I actually sat down and looked at it, I'm not. I'm not actually consistent. There are very, very few things in my life that I am consistent with. So that is one thing I am grateful to have learned, and I am looking to improve that. I am working on improving that every day, being more consistent, because consistency is where the magic happens. Number 8, there are things that I will not compromise on. I used to compromise on everything. I didn't have very good boundaries. And now there are things that I just will not compromise on. I don't care who you are. I don't care why you want me to. There are things that I will not compromise on. And number 9, change is inevitable. There are only a couple things we are guaranteed in life. One is death. The other is change. Nothing stays the same. The seasons don't stay the same. The weather doesn't stay the same. The stores don't stay the same. Systems don't stay the same. The banks don't stay the same. What is available to us does not stay the same. The rules do not stay the same. We do not stay the same. We are constantly not just evolving in our minds, but our bodies, our spirit, our homes. We are constantly changing. Change is inevitable. So to that end, a little further on, I'll be talking a little bit more about that, because of course I did not do this in order. I just wrote down 100 things that I am fully aware I have learned in the last 10 years. So number 10 is there are worse things than death. Now, about 3 years ago, I ran across this quote that said, death is not the greatest loss in life. Loss is when life dies inside you while you are still alive. And that still holds true for me today. That still touches my heart. I've been there, I've lived it. I've had life die inside me. It's not a fun place to be, and it's worse, in my opinion, than death. So when I saw that quote, it really touched me. So don't let life die inside you. If you're still alive, continue to live, continue to grow, continue to expand. And that's coming up as well. Number 11, life is not fair. When we were young, at least when I was young, me and my friends would say, life is not fair. That's not fair. You can't do that. That's not fair. Fair is something that we have developed to make everyone feel good. And the sooner we realize life is not fair and adjust to that, the quicker we can move on with what we can do and can have. Life is not fair. Get used to it. You're not always going to get everything that you want, everything that you need, everything that you think you should have. Life is not fair. And the sooner I recognize that, once I recognized that, it was much easier to move on to things that I could get, which was much more than I thought as well. Number 12, we don't choose when we die. So living every day like it was your last, or at least acknowledging that our time here is limited, can change the way you live your life, which is very, very cool experience. And I'm so glad I had it. I'm so glad I recognized that. And you can't run away from yourself. So if you think, I've often thought, well, if I just moved to a different city, I could reinvent myself, and then I wouldn't have this problem or that problem, and I'd be able to start over, and I'd be able to become the person I want to be, and nobody would know me, and except that my difficulties will come with me. So wherever I go, there I am. That was also a very profound thing to learn. You can't run away from yourself. If you change yourself, your life will change. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. You can't run away from yourself. So number 14 is the only way past grief is through it. Now, all of us in our lifetime will eventually lose someone we love. And I just had the misfortune of losing a partner early. And that brought me to the realization that I don't get to choose when I die. He would still be here if he could. He didn't choose to die then. So I've taken that to be, what am I doing with the life I am living? You don't get to choose when you die. So live the life while you still have it, because you don't know when that's going to be. Okay, I'm just looking at my list. And I am doing them out of order, and that's okay. 15. Just because it looks easy doesn't mean it is easy. Now, I'm sure I certainly have seen people make things look easy. And I used to have a motto that said, how hard can it be? Well, sometimes way harder than it looks. Because the people who make it look easy have been honing that skill for a very long time. They have been practicing and practicing and practicing. And if you want it to look easy, if you want it to be easy, then just keep practicing. Practice, 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 practice. Not everything is as easy as it looks. Number 16. Not all people want to try. And that's okay. We need to respect where other people are and what other people want. But it was a great revelation to me to recognize that not everyone wants to improve. Not everyone wants to work at what they're needing improvement on. Not everyone wants to acknowledge that they do need improvement. And that's okay. It's okay that not everybody wants to try. It's also okay to be wrong. In fact, being wrong can actually keep you humble, as long as you're not always wrong. No one is 100% of the time wrong, unless that's what they're shooting for. But it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to have the wrong answer. It's okay to say the wrong answer. It's just a matter of acknowledging that you were wrong when you recognize it. And it's also okay to not know. It's okay to not know something. It doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you ignorant. It doesn't make you unintelligent. It's simply that you do not know something. And that too was a great revelation, because I wouldn't speak up because I may be wrong and I may not know. And now I recognize that I can be both of those things, and it's still okay. In fact, it actually helps other people recognize that it's okay for them to not be right or for them to be wrong and for them to not know something. When we show our fallibilities, it lets other people be fallible themselves. It lets them know that it's okay. It's also okay to not agree with someone. It's okay to disagree. And that's number 19. It's okay to have a different opinion. It is okay to disagree with someone. It's okay to challenge someone. Now, number 20 is, it's not okay to, the way I've phrased this, is to ram my opinion down someone else's throat. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a different opinion, but it's not okay to insist that other people share those opinions and to try to force them to. And while that's not something I often engaged in, when I recognized it, it was something I put in my little box to pull up later on, because it is a good thing to remember, because we do tend to view things from our own bias. So number 21 is, I've learned to speak up when asked. I didn't think my opinion mattered. I didn't think my voice would be valued because it had never been before. So even when I was asked, I tended not to speak up, or I tended to lessen my comments so that I didn't really have to participate or show that I might not know something or to possibly be wrong at something, to have the wrong information, or to be challenged at what I was speaking of. So I've learned that not only is it okay to speak up when asked, it's actually necessary. It's necessary for my survival. It's necessary for my peace of mind. It's necessary for my growth to speak up. Keeping in mind, of course, that it's not okay to ram my opinion down somebody else's throat, but it is okay to disagree, and it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to not to know. I know it's a lot. It's 100 things. Like, there's a lot. So we're at number 22. Community is very important, and more important than most people realize. What keeps us moving is having other people around. Now, if you're an extreme introvert, you may disagree with that. And being somewhat of an introvert myself, I like my alone time. But I also really enjoy and now value community. Community helps keep us living. It helps keep us thriving. It helps give us people that we can help, and helping other people helps us. So community is extremely important. I've also recognized that I give the benefit of the doubt too often. I give people too many chances. Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Now, when I heard that, I really resonated with that. It's like, oh, believe them. Like, they're telling me who they are, believe them. When that red flag pops up, pay attention to that red flag. Believe when people tell you flat out who they are. And don't assume that you can change them, or that they will change, or that they actually even want to change. So for me, giving the benefit of the doubt too often has definitely slowed down. I have definitely started paying attention to what people are telling me, rather than just assuming that that may not be what they really mean. Okay, we are at 24. So one of the things I have done frequently in past years is jump in without preparation. And while I still occasionally do it, I had that motto of how hard can it be? So I would just jump in and then figure it out. I've learned that preparation can actually make getting into something so much easier. 25. I take too long to decide. I will mull things over for a very, very long time. And I have missed out on multiple opportunities because I've done that. My decision-making process is not very effective. And now that I've learned that, I can change it. So I've also learned that I am a leader. And while I'm not leading the charge, so to speak, I've definitely learned that I'm not a follower. So if I'm not a follower, I must be a leader. And that was a pretty big revelation, because I want to follow someone. I've just never found someone great enough to lead me for very long. So I've also learned how to learn, which may sound a little odd, because if you're learning, you must know how to learn. But when you find your optimal way to learn, it actually can enhance your learning experience and increase the speed with which you learn. So if you do not know how you learn, that's a great thing to figure out. I've also learned that I'm a collector. And what I mean by that is I have a friend who collected pigs. And she had, it was either 300 or 3,000. There was a 3 involved and lots of zeros. She had a ton of pigs, and she had pigs of every shape, size, and possible way you could have a pig. She had keychains, she had pigs on cutlery, she had pictures, she had paintings, she had stuffies. Any way you could design a pig, she had it. She loved pigs. And every time someone saw a pig, including me, we would buy that pig for her because we knew she loved them so much. She collected pigs. I knew someone who collected bells, and they had bells of all shapes and sizes. I knew someone who collected cookie jars of all shapes and sizes. I didn't collect anything, or so I thought. But I've discovered what I do collect is books. I collect information. So I am a collector. So are you a closet collector? Do you not know what you collect? Do you not actually think you collect something? Some people collect shoes. I didn't really collect anything until I discovered that it was books that I collected. I love books. I recognized in number 29 that I was actually closed-minded. Now the next couple are going to be right in line with that. So then I also recognized when I was closed-minded how to become open-minded. Then I found out about growth-minded. I always thought that if you're open-minded, you're learning. And while being open-minded can be learning and is learning, growth-minded is something completely different. Growth-minded is when you are actually expanding. So there's closed-minded, open-minded, and growth-minded. And I have switched from being closed-minded to open-minded. So that means I can see both sides of most situations, and I can listen to someone else's opinion, and I can sometimes even accept someone else's opinion. To learning how to be growth-minded for expansion, to grow, to learn more, to change the way I do things. So that was 29, 30, and 31. We are just about done for today. So 32, I have learned to self-evaluate. I have learned that I am not always right. I am not always in the know. I am not always doing things well. And I have learned to recognize that. I have learned to not wait for someone else to say, hey, that was a really crappy thing you just did. And then for me to go, maybe I should think about that. I now learn to recognize when I am not happy with what I've done and to evaluate how I can do it better. That's self-evaluation. I have learned to recognize, to see that before someone points it out most of the time. No one does everything all of the time. Just as I said, I wasn't very consistent. Well, there you go. I've also learned that not all people share my values. And that's okay. In fact, it's actually necessary. We don't want people to be exactly like us, because if everyone were like us, 1, how boring would the world be? And 2, we would never learn anything. We would be stuck in a rut, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And if you have a wonderful life that you absolutely love, that's great. But if your life is not something that you absolutely love, being stuck in that rut is not a good place to be. So learning what other people's values are is a great exercise in expansion. Number 34 is our perception is huge. How we choose to view things, whether it be with a closed mind, an open mind, or a growth mind, is huge. And our perception, no matter who you are, your perception is always biased. Your perception is biased according to your experiences, your childhood, your community, your exposure to what's going on in the world. So our perception is huge, and we really should be paying attention to that. And lastly, for today, you vibrate what you get. And what I mean by that is we all vibrate at a certain level because we are energy. And energy is something that we can create. It's something that we can pull into us, and it's something that we can put out from us. So when I say you vibrate what you get, if your vibration, if your energy vibration is really low, and you are in the lowest states of vibration, like fear and despair and depression, you are going to find more fear and depression and nope, the other one's just eluding me. That's okay. If you are happy, you're going to vibrate happy. So you will get more happy. You will see more happy people, more happy things. You will be able to focus on happy things more easily. If you are vibrating in fear, then you are going to see the things that make you afraid. So that's in conjunction with perception. So that's it for today. I will be back with part 2 and part 3 with any luck. This video has clear sound. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I am Sandra with Ever Changing Life. If you would like the notes for today's show, please put notes in the comment section and I will get them to you. I do hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me.